Okay, everyone, places. This is the final scene, so let's make this one count. And action.
Hello everybody. Today we have a look at one of these. This is a Zenit EM 35 possibly. It's a 35mm physical media mirrored camera. Okay, so yeah, that's how it works. I'm going to do something very strange with this now, and I'm sure a lot of people will complain that I've ruined a very good camera. Well, yeah, they're alright. 50 years old possibly. Russian, I mean very old school timer, mechanical clockwork timer. What else can I say really? 35mm film. What I'm going to do, seeing something interesting online, is in here I'm going to take all the gubbins out and replace it with the internals of one of these. So this is a Microsoft Cinema 720 webcam. Now, I'm not actually sure if this webcam works, so before I do anything, I suppose I better plug it in. Now I've got USB down here. So setting up camera, Microsoft LiveCam Cinema TM. Now I don't know whether it shows a light here when it's configured properly. So let me check on my PC and see what we've got. Imaging devices, Microsoft LiveCam Cinema. 2016 driver, which is right because it's the Windows 10 one. Yeah, that's fine. Right, so it looks like this camera does actually work. So this camera is 720p, widescreen, microphone, capture button, and then the cable to the USB comes out the back. The idea is you can take, I think there is a screw somewhere that you can undo this. I've taken these apart before. I think you undo this and the whole back thing comes out with the button. I'm not rightly bothered about the still image capture button, but this fits in there nicely and it's about the right depth. So we'll see whether it actually works or not. So first thing we need to look at is taking out the insides. So we don't need this. As you can see, what happens is when you push the button here, you crank it, push the button there, the film moves that way, the mirror moves up, it exposes the film, and then depending on how fast your exposure is, makes it black again, and then you wind the film on using, where are we, that. Wind on, take your shot, wind on, take your shot. Now I want to make this look as authentic as possible but have the webcam inside it. So we have two screws, flathead screws there, which I'm assuming will take this base plate off. So I need to find, take away what we got here, very small flathead screwdriver. So Okay, so 4 screws out, bottom comes off like so. And in here you can see the mechanism. Can you see how that moves up? Now, I really see there's some rust in there as well. Damn. I think I should take this out, take the retaining spring out, because this might be the only way to get all the gubbins out. There's some sort of retaining spring. So we don't need that. And that looks like that's how that comes out. Maybe we don't need to remove that. See, this is a solid piece. Metal solid. That isn't. Okay. So how to take all of that out? Wow. So within this bit, yeah, so there we go. So does that look like a cover? Does that look like a cover? Could probably rip that out actually, because we don't need it. Path of least resistance and all that. So there, that is the ISO screw to mount it to your tripod. But that really, let's have a see. If I take that out, well, that's quite loose actually. I wonder why that's as loose as it is. Ooh, interesting. Don't think it should be that loose, to be fair. There we go. That's the ISO mount out. And that, there are a few washers in there holding that in. There's a compression method, I think. Oh. Right. So 2 washers as well. Now, how does that come out? Oh, wow. That is really fragile. Glued in by the looks of things. Well, don't need that. So there we go. And then that bit comes out at the bottom. Broken, glued in. On to there. Now, that looks to be some sort of screw thread. Oh yeah. That's quite clever. So now I've taken that off, it doesn't lock it in place. Well, that's fine. So, oh, there's 4 screws there as well. 1, 2, so what does that do? That take the front off? Maybe? Possibly takes the front off. Right, this is looking a bit more complicated than I actually thought. So, don't want to remove this. Don't want to remove that. Just need to stick that up there and out of the way, I suppose. And how can we do that? Piece of tape, maybe? Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to bother being nice with it. I mean, I paid, to be fair, I paid £2.75 for this camera body off eBay. So, really, it's not the end of the world if it does get broken. So I think probably what I'll do is I will just rip this out of here. If I take that out of there like that. So that's come out there. And then will it let me... No. But what it will do is it will let me... There we go. Right, so that's out. Don't need that. So essentially now, all that's left is the mirror.
A few moments later.
Now, what we need to do is we need to make an inside bit for here. So I'm thinking that possibly this steel ring comes off. Now, to make sure that they're in the right place, when I screw them back in, I will do that and that. And that, and put them in the same order they came out of the holes in. Okay, now what does this do? Oh, amazing. Right, okay, so that makes it even easier. So that now is the template for the cover. So the whole point is that when this is working, and I've got a new one, and I've disassembled it to this stage, it will go in there like that, and inside here will be black. So what we can do is we can get some cardboard, I think, now. We need to do. So it needs to fit on the inside of this. So ordinarily you would do, I suppose, something like that. Excuse the pencil, it's got a hook on it. It was a fishing game. So I've got a notepad that looks like a pond and paper clips that look like fishes. And that's what that's for on the end of the pencil. So let's make that like that. That should be good enough. And then what we need to do is find, now whether there, so there's the cover from the camera. Now that's the top. That goes that way. That way. Don't suppose it really matters because it's square. Yes, it goes that way like so. So that has to be there like that. So make it as central as physically possible with my eye. and then draw around it. Excuse the finger. Okay, yeah, probably not the best in the world, but let's have a look and see if we can smarten that up. Bit like that. Bit like that. Bit like that, and a bit like that. So, doesn't actually look centered. So it needs to be moved slightly over. Just a tad. So, yeah, maybe there, like so. Too much, maybe. Let's just try anyway. The original. Bum, bum. So that's probably going to be too big yet for that. But with the lid on, like so, that's not bad actually. In fact, it is a bit too big. So, what we need to do is back to the drawing board. This is a trial and error really. So, one of those in there, like so. And then that does now look more like the middle. So onto there, onto there, onto there, and onto there. And then what we can do is if we cut it out smaller, so there we go. So that's better now. So that fits properly in there like that. And this, where is the front cover? That goes over like that. Does it look silly? Does it look silly? That is the question. Yeah, because I suppose that really should go on there like that. Well, then in which case that would need to be flush on there, which would stick out even more. So all that is yeah, I don't think we need that, to be fair. Honestly, don't think we need that. So that goes on like that. That's how the camera fits. Right, let's cut it out and we'll see what happens. We'll see what it looks like. Okay, so out it's been cut. Now, so you see, because of the way that the pencil marks work, it's now too small. I should get some compasses really and do it manually. I'll do it properly.
A few moments later.
Yeah, so that's better. So it still fits on the outside like that. So do we stick it with glue? This is the question now. Stick it there like so and make it black. Now that might be quite good, because with the hole in the middle, we have to centre it up because it fits on the camera that way with the screw holes like that. I have here some that I tried earlier. So we have epoxy glue and hardener, so resin and hardener. Leave that now for 5 minutes to set. Spread that out so it dries a bit easier. The thing is that this is supposed to dry clear, and it doesn't. It dries opaque, so I'm not quite happy about that, but hey ho, these things happen. Right, let's leave that to dry. Okay, so while that's drying, I had a thought actually. We could, in here, put some epoxy glue on that. And then hold it in there. And then get some tape. Like so. So what that should do, that should epoxy glue the mirror to the top, because we don't need it to flop down. And it still leaves it as a sort of working camera. I mean, that still works. That's quite impressive. So while that's drying, and while this is drying here, I will tidy up my desk.
A few moments later.
Right, now let's have a see. Top, that's there. That would go in like so. Now, that looks like it might be a bit too... Ooh, a bit too fat round there. And okay, so that's gone in there, but as you can see, the hole is a bit off centre. Right, everybody, I'm back now. It's been about a week since I attempted to put the Microsoft Live Cam Cinema into this SLR camera case and killed the camera. I mean, yeah, definitely it was the most stupidest thing to do on a working camera, but thankfully the camera was quite old. Right, so this is busted. This goes, well, it goes in the bin probably now, that. That might be useful though. I might keep it and see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I have... This has turned up now. And this was a very cheap webcam. I mean, I'm talking... £4. I mean, I don't really hold much hope for it, because at £4 it's probably going to be very poor quality. But the idea is it clips onto your laptop, onto your screen, for when you don't have a video camera on your laptop. And I can't see whether it does audio, so I'm guessing not. There's 2 screws, one either side to take it apart, which is probably a good idea because it won't go in there and I don't really want to cut this down. Oh, the only thing I'll probably do is that may go in that way. Yeah, possibly. So I need to undo this and see whether or not this camera will go through this and we'll make a new hole. So, will this... You see, it doesn't even go in there. Stoofs! So I think I'm going to have to take the case off this as well now. I mean, it's not a problem. For £2, if it breaks, I just get a new one. It's neither here nor there. No, but I'm sure we can make it fit. See, look, doesn't fit in there. But that's the focusing wheel. I don't think we need to focus it really, but you never know. And also, we need to make that hole bigger and make it circular. So it just fits in. It's just literally just taking the corners off. Yeah, so I need to do that as well. So, let me have a look off camera how I'm going to take this apart. Right, this can be taken apart very easily. And there should be a spring in here. There is, inside there. So I don't really want to disturb the spring, but I want to take the cable off it, just like that. So how does that work? Oh yeah, okay, so can you see there's a spring inside there? It's a coiled spring, and that comes out of there like so, and that circular bit I think goes round the centre. Does it? Or does it go like so? That can go in the bin. This is what I wanted. So this is the long cable. It's got a bit of a kink in it. It's got a bit of a kink in it when we're there. Bit of a kink. So hopefully that will straighten out, and hopefully this cable won't be too bad and it won't get interference. But I've still got to get rid of this. Yeah, it's quite a good clip. It's a shame we can't use it for anything else now. And then this should be okay because that can go actually inside the camera. And then I have a feeling what we need to do is feed this through the camera so that then, see, I don't know which way did that go. So it went, if it goes that way on your laptop, then the cable comes out at the top, which means per se it goes that way. Right, it's a stroke of luck really. This does absolutely nothing. It just pops off. That's the focuser. But even then, that doesn't focus because I don't think there's a lens in it. So let me check. If I take it off, probably prove me wrong now. Actually, there is a lens in it, but I can't see how it focuses if there's no lens. Oh yeah, see, so the lens is in the back side of that. There's the tiny CCT. There's a CMOS, I think that is, but it's like, it's millimeters in size. You see that there, millimeters in size normally, compared to the one on. If I can show you this, I don't know if you can see in there. Can you? Probably not. But that black square is the CCD, and it is 4 times the size. So that just goes to show the quality of the Microsoft device. So anyway, that is the lens. There's the CMOS chip. That goes back in there. And as you can see, this will sit nicely. Just there. Yep, that's pretty good. So also the other good thing is that this, I know it's not centered, but I mean, look at that. Oh, now what's happening there? Now, does that look daft? If that's black and that's sticking out there like that, I don't think that looks too bad. I mean, I could get an old lens maybe and replace the actual glass and just put a flat piece of plastic in and make it stick out yay far. You know, like so. So that's what actually I might do. But for the moment, what I'll do, now that I know that this fits through the lens gap, I will get my pen. Actually, that'll do, because that's as black as it's going to get. So, which looks like it's going to be the better fit. there. That one for the moment. So at the moment, it's just a pressure fit. So I will screw it back in again, just so it actually looks like the camera. Right, good. So that's the pressure fit. So that doesn't look too bad, does it? It's a camera. It'd be much better if that was black or silver, maybe. Silver might be a good idea. So the next thing to do is to get this cable somewhere. So what I'm going to have to do is tape that down there for the moment, just so that it doesn't move. One tiny bit of that, and that goes in there, and that goes just like that for the moment. So I've managed to use a very fine circular file, and I've taken, can you see, a tiny little gap out there, which means it goes on that side like so, and then that closes over the cable. Now there you go. So camera's in, not very steady of course. I think I might put some styrofoam in the back of there maybe, just to hold it in against the back. But the cable comes out there nicely. Look at that. So that's quite good. Camera's done. It's pushed out in the middle of this, and behind here I've put some bubble wrap just to push it out just a tiny bit, and it now works like a webcam. I've got Skype up here on my PC, and it actually looks like a pretty good quality webcam, although it is, yeah, it's back to front. It needs switching round left to right. Right, so as you can see, it is of course, because it's a webcam, it's back to front. So your webcam software needs to reverse the image when it is running. So this now should just screw in nicely. Yeah, look at that. So if you saw this, when it has a lens on the front of it, if you looked at it from the front, you would never know that it was actually a webcam. So I'm quite impressed with that. Wasn't as easy as I thought and as quick as I thought, but that's because I physically broke the camera, which is my own stupid fault. So last screw. There we go. Look at that. A Zenit EM35 35mm physical media stills camera converted to a 800 by 600 or 1280 by 720 webcam. That I think is a success. If I do get a lens for it, I'll do another video, but I think for the moment that is all. So I'm quite impressed with that. In fact, I'm really impressed with that. I didn't think I managed to do it, but yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a bit longer than I thought it was, but it's quite educational to see the insides of a stills camera, the insides of a web camera, what not to do with the pliers to take that out and ruin the chip and the resistor and the capacitor underneath it, and what then to do with a cheap webcam, £3 off eBay, your camera housing, a piece of cardboard which needs to go properly black, some side cutters for here, and replacing it as a full camera. So you could even put a light mount on there, which is what I've got up here, is a circular LED light with an ISO shoe on it, and that would just slip into there, and that will be your webcam fully lit. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I upload more videos, and leave me a comment if you have done one of these yourself, if you've done a different camera body, if you use a different webcam. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.